Michael, in our recent Kubernetes research study, we found that networking is the number one productivity killer for developers. Is that surprising to you? Networking to me sounds like a thing for the operations guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, this is one of my networking's always one of my pet peeves. And I mean I think there's two reasons. One is because networking is just always difficult. I mean, I think and as a snarky example of that, I mean, there's the joke that it's always a DNS problem, right? And like 30 or
Right?
40 years after that, you'd think someone would fix that, right? Like,
No.
well, why is it still so hard? Maybe I've lost track of who does the DNS specifications, but like I don't know. It seems like we're always kind of doing the same four things. It's just like these numbers should convert to this string and go to
Mhm.
this machine. And like,
Right.
what else are you doing? Right. And so, like, however, like the difficulty of DNS and everything that comes with it is persisted. Right. And it's just a very difficult field. And so
Yeah.
I think I think as with so many areas of Kubernetes, because it is a brand new platform and we haven't really figured out how to make it easy to use or how to sand off the rough edges for application developers. Like application developers still have to be exposed to and think a lot about the networking aspects.
Right.
And then at the same time, uh, there's even more. It's just kind of complexity on complexity. Like also when you move to a Kubernetes architecture, like you're basically moving to a new way of doing distributed applications, right? Like you're breaking your application into smaller components and having them
Right.
collaborate, having them work with each other over a network. So now you've got a whole other new thing,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's just a new way of doing things, which I think has we don't have quite figured out yet.
And that's a great point. When I look at some of the charts that we created during that research, service mesh is a big topic with sidecar uh,
Mm,
containers that are attached to the actual microservices containers and that handle this network routing issue and load balancing issue. And funnily enough, developers get stuck with those issues if it's
sure.
performance problems or if it's connectivity issues. If for some reason, oh, my application doesn't work. When we look at what developers complain about with Kubernetes, it's often really that. It's often service mesh related. And yeah,
Totally.
the bigger scheme of things, it's really DNS. And I think for Tanzu, when I look at the logo here on your hoodie, I think Tanzu is a platform that helps by unifying this, right? I think that's your big mission to unify how you can use that networking so that the network guys can take care of the network and the developers can take care of the development. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think to use the, uh, I think service mesh has probably evolved into what it'll finally be after all these years. But I think you're identifying a key goal that you should have with application developers and networking is like to really like simplify it for them and at 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 worst make them think they have choice, right? Like I think I think the problem with networking and application developers is that they shouldn't do anything with it, right? However, networking is this like intricate, weird thing, and developers love to tinker with things, right? So you're mentioning like sidecars, right? And like
Right.
I don't know, over the years, I forget the formal name of this pattern, but whenever you introduce like a proxy or a man in the middle thing to an application developer, that's when things go wrong, right? Like you don't want them like
Mm.
messing with underlying infrastructure for cleverness. And
Right.
I think what I see good service meshes doing is kind of limiting what developers need to care about in the networking space because that shouldn't really be part of how their applications work. There shouldn't be much cleverness in the networking layer.
Yeah. It should stay out of the way of developers.
Yeah,
They just want to
right.
consume.
And hints to your original question, like why are developers saying this is a problem that shouldn't even be in front of them?
Yeah, Michael, thank you. Thank you. That goes very much in line with what we see when we talk to enterprises and specifically developers.